There we go. There we go. Thank you. Awesome. All right. Well, yeah, we want to talk about building cloud optional restaurants. And so before going into details with that, I want to talk a little bit about the history of point of sale systems. And this will explain what I mean by cloud optional. So 100 years ago, over 100 years ago, this was point of sale. It is, the original cash register machine. And so we talk a lot about cloud and connectivity and things nowadays, but the original system, you could say, was a cloud none system. It was mechanical. There's no electronics with this. And as a result, it was incredibly reliable. And so this was invented by an individual, James Riddy, I guess in 1881. And this is how everything worked for over 100 years, where hospitality, restaurants, retail, everyone was just ringing up the sales, mechanically. And so that worked quite well, but over 100 years, we started to introduce electronic systems into the mix with the computing age. And so we had electronic point of sale systems. And this was great because you could start to do a lot more with it. And so these are one of the early types of systems. And it was quickly adopted, especially in fast food restaurants like McDonald's. And one of the great things about these early systems were that they were what we would say peer-to-peer, which is that these systems, because the internet and like modern forms of connectivity didn't exist and computing systems were really underpowered, everything had to run at the store. And so one machine would connect directly through other cables in the store to the other machines. And so everything ran locally. And so it didn't need the cloud or other things. And as a result, this system was incredibly reliable. If anything happened outside of the store, it didn't matter, because as long as no one unplugged the system, data would go from one device to the other. But as the computing age continued to evolve into the 2000s, 2010s, we started to talk about new types of devices, mobile devices, as iPads and others started getting built by Apple and others, and the cloud became, something we talk about. And as a result, we started to shift away from these early systems that were all plugged in into wireless systems. And there was something really strange about this, because in a lot of ways, it was a step forward from a user experience. You could walk around, you could have your store associates operate in new ways because they weren't tethered to one location. But the way that we were building the software to run on these systems was kind of like a step backwards, because we introduced basically a single point of failure, which is that these devices would need the cloud to operate. And so if you've got data that's trying to go from one device to the other, it needs access to a Wi-Fi router and the internet to make that happen. Data wasn't just going from one device directly to the other. And so if you lost any of that stuff in the middle, Wi-Fi router gets unplugged, happens quite a lot. The internet goes out, AT&T's digging nearby, or your back end, maybe someone, pushes something on a Friday night and breaks the production system, or there's a security incident. Any of those things can cause now the store to stop operating. And when we talk to store operators, this is one of the number one complaints they have, is why is my modern technology, if they've been in the business long enough, essentially more brittle than the system I had maybe in 1995? That's kind of strange. We think technology is always kind of moving forward. And so, in short, this is kind of the history as we see it, is you've got this early age of non-electronic systems, and then in the electronic age, early part of it was a really resilient system. It had limitations in the user experience, and that's what we've really improved upon with cloud and mobile systems today, but we've lost some of that resiliency. And so the question is, how can you have all three? Why do you have to pick? Why do you have to choose resiliency over user experience or vice versa? Is there a platform that can bring all of these three things together? And In a sense, that's what Ditto is. Ditto is technology that is not specific to one industry. It is just core technology that can be built into any type of application, but it has particularly great fit in the point of sale space because we are technology that enables wireless devices to connect peer-to-peer and share data without a server or without the internet. And so by embedding this technology into point of sale systems, you start to get those exact same benefits of the wired systems from the 70s, 80s, and 90s, but with wireless mobile devices that we're adopting. And so I'd like to pass this over to Flip. They've been one of our great partners that have embedded this into their Spont point of sale application.
Okay, so let me turn on my mic. I think everything is clear like this. All right, thank you, Adam. The beeper, this is. All right, my name is Flip. I'm from Spont, and 7 years ago we started with the iPad point of sale in Europe. And the last 7 years we worked on, exactly like Adam mentioned, on adding all kind of stuff like kiosks, like handhelds, like online ordering tools, back office to see reports. And we had the challenge Adam was mentioning, that it should always be connected. And that's why we were looking for a solution to make it stable, and we implemented Ditto in our new application, in our new platform. So if we zoom in to a very simple flow of point of sale, you make an order on your point of sale, and it goes to, for example, your kitchen display or your printer in the kitchen. It's very simple, and it works something like this. So we see on the left that we have the point of sale. I make an order there. On the right, I have 2 tablets that are Android. Left is an iOS. We create an order, we send it through, it comes in the kitchen. But it is a simple flow, but it's really critical that it always works. And in real life, it's not always like that. For example, let's say somebody plugged out by accident the router, or a switch is broken, or it's really crowded and the network is overloaded, so it becomes slow. They have a lot of problems. And what Ditto does, in the background, it also has a peer-to-peer connection. So if the Wi-Fi, for any reason, is down or is slow, then the peer-to-peer connection will still make it possible to connect. I show this in the next movie. There you see that we simulate a Wi-Fi break by switching off the radios for Bluetooth and Wi-Fi. But you still see that Ditto will manage it to get the order on the KDS. Okay, now we switch off the Wi-Fi and the Bluetooth. It's having a peer-to-peer connection. And what you see when we make the order, nearly real time, they are synced to the kitchen displays. And there we go. Okay, then another situation what you often have with mobile devices is that you walk away out of everything. Imagine you have handhelds with your point of sale solution. You go out of range on an event or outside in the area. Then you want to work offline so people can take the orders. You want to do everything. And when you go back in range, you want to make sure that everything is synced again. That's what we simulate in this movie by switching off the Wi-Fi completely. So in iOS, we make sure there's no connection at all. We make some orders. Because it's fully switched off, it doesn't sync. You will see that now. And then later on, when we come online again, you see it's catching up. It's syncing again how it should. There we go. And the cool thing here is that it will use the sequence the orders are created. So imagine that for a few minutes you're doing all kind of stuff. You're adding some orders, you're removing a few. That it's keeping the sequence of ordering and syncs it with everything together. Okay, these are 3 examples, easy examples where it could go wrong. But what Adam also mentioned is that the new point of sale is online, is in the cloud. We have a lot of online stuff we like to do. For example, if you have a connection with Uber or DoorDash, you want to have your orders on your kitchen display. For example, what we have a lot in my country is we order a lot with QR. So all the customers, they are ordering online, they scan the QR code, they are on their own phone, make an order, but should be sent to the kitchen display. It's really important that it is delivered in the kitchen display because the waiters don't even know the customers are ordering. So imagine the stress it will give if there's a delay in delivering the print job to the kitchen display. So what we do now, and I need to explain it a little bit, to spoiler a little bit the next movie, because a lot is happening there. What we do, we disable the Wi-Fi fully on the KDS screen. Then we make an order online on the website, like everybody can do. And what's happening, the website is online, somewhere in AWS, and there is one device close by the kitchen display that is in range with the peer-to-peer connection of a device that's online. So that device that is online, and that it could be any device, Android, iOS, that will pick up the order and will push it to the kitchen display. And this will also work from device to device to device to device. So if you have in your restaurant all your customers who are working on an app powered by Ditto, then they will use all as some kind of a pair that connects and get the order to the screen. Ditto calls it the multi-hop technology, and it looks like this. Okay, now you see I'm switching off the internet for the KDS. I make the online order. A little bit upselling in the order. There we go. And now the order goes to the point of sale, and through the internet of the point of sale, it goes through the internet to the point of sale and then hops to the kitchen display. That's how we use, this is a simple example how we use Ditto in our apps, because we have all kind of apps on Android, on web, on iOS. It works with everything. And we really think that because we created the full platform ourselves, it will work on every device what we have. The movies are nice, but I think if you see Ditto in real life, that it's say much more. Thank you.